Yo, yo, yo! What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. And huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Michael, we got Spida, we got Brandon, we got RC3, we got Juan, Joel. Appreciate you guys for being here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have a fun-filled show for you guys today. Do me a huge favor, smack up the like button on your way in. We are going to talk about, obviously, what the title of this video is, right? So the Arizona Cardinals humor the fact that getting a wide receiver with the 16th overall pick can be a possibility. Well, I think anything's on the board, right? Anything's a possibility for the Arizona Cardinals. But we're going to be diving into, obviously, the mock draft season that's currently upon us right now. We have a lot of things kind of going back and forth with multiple different mock drafts to kind of get people sitting back and saying, hey, maybe that might be a possibility for the Arizona Cardinals. So appreciate you guys for joining in. Smack up the like button on your way in. And let's talk about the big news that ended up dropping yesterday. Now I want to get a gauge and where you guys are at. And on top of that, we also do got a mock draft from my guy RC3 that we will be diving into a little later on in the stream. And if you guys want me to react to a specific mock draft, hit me up on my social medias. Everything will be in the description of this video. Send me a screenshot of what you cooked up, and we'll be able to dissect it and really kind of look into where the mind process is and why you did what you did in the later parts of these streams. Now, it's been a little sporadic with these live streams. I am in the process of moving right now, so the live streams are going to continue. It's just the times will fluctuate, right? So if you do want to be a part of the live shows and the live streams, make sure you have your post notification bell on, as well as subscribe, just so you're aware when we drop the next video or when we go live. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started here. A lot of breaking news dropped yesterday, or at least a couple big breaking news ended up dropping yesterday. Let's talk about the one that kind of affects the Cardinals. I guess it doesn't really affect the Cardinals, but a lot of us were talking about a potential, right, with Stephon Diggs coming to the Cardinals because we needed a wide receiver, and there was some, subscribers slash fans saying, hey, I wouldn't mind it. There's a lot of other Cardinal fans that are saying, no, I do not want the drama. But that's no longer a problem for the Cardinals anymore because he now found his way on over to the Patriots. And man, oh man, oh man, what an absolute crazy contract. I'm not going to sit here and say, the Arizona Cardinals should have done this because this is a contract that I wouldn't have touched with a 6-foot pole. I'm going to be real here. It's not that I don't believe in Stephon Diggs. It's just, damn, I would not have done this. But the Patriots do have a lot of money to spend, and they're going after big splash moves, and they're trying to make sure that Drake May is accomplished or at least has everything in front of him to succeed, right? So let's go ahead and take a look to see what Stephon Diggs ended up getting. Breaking news came out yesterday per Adam Schefter, saying that the New England Patriots signed Stephon Diggs to a 3-year, $69 million deal. Absolutely nuts. Now, I know like when it originally comes out with breaking news, a lot of times the contracts don't exactly align with what is reported, but for the most part, regardless if it's close to this, either a little lower or a little more, this is still a lot of money. Like this is still a lot of money for a Stephon Diggs, which is in his 30s. I know that each team that he's gone to, right, whether it was the Bills, started with the Vikings, right? He's had success there. He's had success, but they just come with drama when it comes down to that uh, prototypical, oh, you know, diva, right? Diva type of thing. So, yeah, whenever you're thinking of a diva wide receiver, Stephon Diggs is definitely up there in terms of a diva. But he got the bag. Congratulations to him. I wouldn't have done this if I was Monty, and I'm glad we didn't do this. But obviously, it was a little intriguing to see him still available out there, but no longer available. He is now a member of the Patriots on a 3-year deal. Congratulations to him. And let's move on over to the other news, which is going to be this one right here. And it's that Russell Wilson is now finding his way to the Giants after spending a year with the Steelers. And I think he did pretty decent. I know the offense sputtered at the end part of the season. And the offense didn't look really good in terms of the passing game, but there was some kind of rumors floating around that the Russell Wilson did want to stay with the Steelers, and that's why it took as long as it did. But the Giants went after Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal worth up to $21 million, including $10.5 million guaranteed. So for the most part, the big question here is that the third overall pick in the NFL draft A lot of people have the Giants going after Shador Sanders. Now, can they still go after Shador Sanders? Yeah, they can. But when you're looking at the head coach and you're looking at the general manager, you're asking yourselves, they're probably in a win now mode, right? So, does the owner have the leeway for the head coach as well as the general manager to say, hey, take a rookie and develop him for a year? I don't know. I feel like the chain is getting really, really short when it comes down to the Giants front office as well as uh, the coaching staff. So I think they needed to make a very desperate move. I think we all know that Aaron Rodgers was probably their top priority, but for what it's worth, the next best thing in terms of available quarterbacks out there is probably going to be Russell Wilson, and that's what they ended up going with. I'm curious to figure out what the Giants are going to do, how they're going to look like. Are they going to allocate that first round pick, which is the third overall pick, to a defensive piece if it's an Abdul Carter? Are they going to be bringing in a Travis Hunter? Are they going to be bringing in an offensive lineman? Like, which way are they going to go, right? It almost kind of feels like a wrench was thrown into a lot of mock drafts. Now, they can still go Shador. They still definitely can still go Shador Sanders with that third overall pick. Or maybe Jackson Dart can be a thing in the later rounds, maybe second or third round. Maybe it gives them the flexibility to take best player available with the third overall pick and maybe use a second rounder on for example, let's say, for example, Jackson Dart if he falls to the second round. So yeah, man, very, very crazy times right now within the NFL, but news is still coming through. Super, super exciting news for the respective teams in the Giants as well as for the Patriots now getting their wide receiver one on over there. Curious to figure out what these teams are going to do, but now that leaves a big open hole. What are the Steelers going to do at quarterback? What are the Steelers going to do at quarterback? As of right now, Aaron Rodgers, maybe, but I know Aaron Rodgers might want to go to the Vikings, but we'll see. We'll see. That's going to be a storyline we're going to be following very, very closely. But ladies and gentlemen, we're all here. We're all here. You guys clicked on the video to talk some Cardinals, right? Y'all clicked on this video to talk some Cardinals, and that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. So let's get started. Now, we do got a mock draft we are gonna be dissecting a little later on in the stream. That's gonna be courtesy of my guy RC3. So shout out to him if he is still in the chat. But let's talk about what I've been seeing at least these last couple days with mock drafts coming out from ESPN. And if you're not able to read what's going on here on the screen, it basically says Matthew Golden mocked to the Arizona Cardinals. And this is not the first time we've seen this. Now, here's another big question to you guys in the chat, right? Are you opposed to the Arizona Cardinals going wide receiver? I'm not saying Matthew Golden. But are you guys in the chat opposed to the Arizona Cardinals going after a wide receiver, whether that's an Emeka Ibuka, whether that's going to be a T-Mac, whether that's going to be a Matthew Golden, or whether that's going to be a Luther Burton? Are you guys opposed to a potential wide receiver pick with the 16th overall pick? Let me know in the chat. Now, like I said before, we're seeing a lot of mock drafts coming out right now. I've seen two of them very specifically, and they're a part of like ESPN. So they're a part of these big sports media companies where they have these guys doing these mock drafts. And let's keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, mock draft season is supposed to be fun, right? Mock draft season is supposed to be, hey, this is my opinion and this is what I feel like is going to happen from 1 through 15, from 1 to 30 32 in the first round, right? That's what mock draft season is. It's everybody's opinion being put onto a platter. Or is everybody going to agree on a specific opinion? No, right? They're not. But at the end of the day, that's what makes mock draft season so fun, right? It's the different options, it's the different ways of going about, I don't know, just differentness, man, just difference of opinion. So I'm not mad at, guys from ESPN coming out and saying the Cardinals are going to go after Matthew Golden. But at the end of the day, I'm very curious to figure out what you guys are going to go after. But honestly, right now, let me get my take in this whole situation. I've seen a couple ESPN guys, right, sports analysts coming out saying that the Cardinals, getting Matthew Golden mocked over to the Cardinals. Now, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it one bit. It obviously opens up your eyes a little bit. Like, it kind of makes you step back and saying, okay, well, that's interesting, right? But I don't think I'm shocked that wide receiver is even an option at the first round. We talked about this before, right? Way before mock draft season. Way before the Cardinals decided to bring back Greg Dortch. Way before the Cardinals decided to bring back Zay Jones back, right? We've talked about this before, that the Cardinals need to get a another wide receiver in this, you know, this wide receiving core, right? We talked, so it's not a shock or it's not something out of left field to me, right? And I'm pretty sure for the people in the chat as well, we've had this conversation before about the Cardinals potentially going after another weapon, right? And I know there's some people out there, saying, "Oh, back-to-back weapons, that's not good." Well, I mean, okay, yeah, I think, like I said, everybody's rightful to their opinion right now with where it stands, right? Well, while we're on this live stream right now, we're sitting here on March 26th. Where does my allegiance lie in terms of the 16th overall pick right now? Right now, it's still trenches. Right now, it is still trenches here for me. It's trenches. It's going to be either the offensive side of the ball, trenches, or the defensive side of the ball. Primarily, I'm leaning a little more to the defensive side of the ball when it comes to the 16th overall pick, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that there isn't 10% or 15% or even 18 to 20% that says to me right now that, hey, a wide receiver would be cool. A wide receiver would be awesome. Now, Matthew Golden is not a guy that I would have mocked to the Arizona Cardinals personally. I would like more of an Emeka Ibuka over a Matthew Golden, right? But I'm not mad at it, right? If the idea of the guy making this specific mock draft is saying, okay, well, you're going to have Matthew Golden on the outside, Marvin Harrison Jr. on the outside, and what we're going to do is we're going to have Michael Wilson go on the slot, right? Maybe that's the plan in terms of why they did what they did. Or maybe they don't even feel like Mike Wilson's going to be that number 2 or number 3 guy in general, right? So for whatever reason, this mock draft was put together. Everybody's got their own opinions on the whole thing matters, right? I have high praise for Mike Wilson, right? So when I look into bringing in another wide receiver, I'm looking for a number 3. I'm looking for a guy that's going to be able to spread the field in the slot. That's what I'm looking for as a Arizona Cardinal fan that's going to be able to do something that these other 2 guys can't, right? And I'm talking about Marvin as well as Mike Wilson, right? So that's kind of where my mind is. I'm not mad at the wide receiver pick. Like I said, if I would be lying to you if I didn't have 10% or 15% saying, hey, this is an option. This is an option for the Cardinals, right? Or at least a little intrigue of an option here for the Cardinals. But right now, my allegiance still lies with defensive line. It still aligns with offensive line, right? I feel like trenches is going to be a big, big key for the Cardinals to potentially go forward. But I'm not going to lie to you, man. Matthew Golden is pretty intriguing. Matthew Golden is pretty intriguing here with the Cardinals. Specifically bringing in Kyler another weapon, or even if they're not thinking, oh, Kyler Murray going, if they're just saying we need to build this team out the best in our ability, right? Like, let's say, for example, Monty does feel like Matthew Golden is the best wide receiver there, right? If he goes for him and he's top on his board, okay, follow the process, right? Follow the process and do what I'm not going to get mad at it. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't get mad at the idea of it because I think right now the Cardinals still have the holes that we aligned. Now, in free agency, they try to fill those holes up, right? But it doesn't mean that I'm confident in those holes, but they did fill up holes, right? That they filled up a uh what's called the edge number 1 hole with obviously Josh Sweat. I'm confident in that one. Dalvin Thompson, confident in that one. But bringing in the guys back that we brought in with Greg Dortch and Zay Jones, I'm a little hesitant. I'm a little concerned. But, I mean, they could very well surprise me. They can come out here and have an absolute crazy year, especially if we finally get this passing game going to the level that we needed to get going, right, with consistency. So there's just a lot of up in the air right now when it comes down to the Arizona Cardinals, but I ain't mad at this, man. I'm not. Now, here's another question for you guys in the chat. Let's say, for example, we are living in a world where we do see T-Mac, right? McMillan out of the wide receiver out of U of A. Let's say, for example, he falls, right? Let's say he's there at 16. Do you take a T-Mac, right? That's another big question out there because there is, 4 wide receivers, I would say right now, that's probably going to be taken in the first round. 4 of them right now that can confidently say is going to be taken in the first round. Emeka Ibuka, T-Mac, Matthew Golden, and probably Luther Burton. Those are going to be the 4 wide receivers that I'm pretty confident is going to go in the first round. If not 4, and then definitely 3, right? If not 4, then definitely 3. I think Luther Burton's going to be first. I think T-Mac's going to be first. I think Emeka Ibuka's going to be first. Matthew Golden just kind of really depends, right? Depends at the end of the day who values them. But I ain't mad at it, man. I ain't mad at it one bit. I ain't mad at it one bit. If T-Mac does fall, that would be amazing to bring him in. I heard people compare him to this year's Mike Evans. That would be amazing, man. That would be amazing to be bringing in some sort of another wide receiver to help out obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go nuts. I absolutely do know. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go absolutely crazy, over 1,000 yards, and I think we're going to have over 8 touchdowns again. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is just going to learn from what happened in the rookie year, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that the communication and the connection is finally down to where we need it to go down to, right? So at least that's my wishful thinking here for the Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, man, wide receivers on the table. So for the people out there that are trying to shut it down and saying, no, man, we shouldn't do that. There's a little bit of a little bit of an intrigue. You can't sit back and say, come on, there's not at least a little intrigue there for you as an Arizona Cardinal fan, the potential bring in another wide receiver. My allegiance right now stands with trenches right now. Like right now, 85%, 80% lands with trenches, primarily the defensive side of the ball. Offensive side of the ball, I'm cool with it as well, but there is a little bit of an intrigue when it comes down to Matthew Golden. Now, the only thing that I wouldn't be okay with, and I would be a little upset. I've seen a few other mock drafts, and like I said, right, it's mock draft season. Like there is a lot of difference of opinions out there when like you can even have somebody that doesn't even really follow the Cardinals, but they're looking at, like, let's say for example, um they're looking at uh like the Arizona Cardinals roster, right? Like they're looking at the Arizona Cardinals roster and they're trying to find, okay, well, what's the best solution for you, right? What's the best solution here for the Arizona Cardinals? There is a player that I've seen mocked a couple different times to the Cardinals. And this one, like I would be a little upset if we use a 16th overall pick on this specific player. Now, if the Cardinals did decide to trade back and then get him, I wouldn't be mad at it. But the 16th overall, I feel like it's a little too rich. And I'll tell you who that player is right now. Let me know if you guys seen the same thing, because I've seen a couple people come out there and saying that the Cardinals should get Gray Zabel. Gray Zabel, which is a guard for is it North Dakota State? Is that what it is? North Dakota State University? Is that what it is? So that one I would be a little upset with if the Cardinals grabbed him at the 16th overall pick. Now, if they decided to trade back and then still get him, okay, well, hopefully we recoup the third round pick, right? That's the only thing that we can kind of hope for, and fingers crossed that the Cardinals ended up doing. But that one would really kind of get me a little kind of concerned if the Cardinals ended up going after a uh, Gray Zabel, guard out of North Dakota State. Like that one would get me a little. Have you guys seen that as well? I've seen a few different mock drafts. There are not a lot of them out there, but people that really, do mock drafts for all 32 teams, there's been a couple of them. They're like, oh yeah, you got to go after this guy. You got to go after this guy. And I'm like, I don't know about that at the 16th overall pick. Like it's a lot of it's interesting if the Cardinals trade back. Like, I would humor it if the Cardinals traded back and recouped like another third or something like that, or another pick in the later parts of the draft. But I don't know. The 16th overall pick, I feel like it's a little too rich. It's a little too rich, because I know like the people that are doing these mock drafts are probably saying like, oh, Will Hernandez went down. What are you gonna do with that Will Hernandez? Oh my God. Like, oh, it's over for you guys, right? But little did they know that Evan Brown actually did a stand-up good job for the Cardinals, right? Now, yes, there is a big hole when it comes down to that position. I honestly think that Isaiah Adams is probably going to get a fair crack at it. I think he's going to get a fair crack in training camp. I know people aren't confident in him. I know people are going to be very, very concerned, giving a second-year guy the keys to the offensive line. I mean, a guy's not going to get better unless he's kind of getting thrown in the fire. We've seen little things here and there where there's a little bit of flashes, but we also seen him look like a turnstile as well. We've seen him look pretty darn not that great in the preseason. Now, granted, it's the preseason. So for what it's worth, there's that, right? I do not like the idea of that. Junior says, oh, so he's a tackle. So he's not a guard. Oh, he's a tackle. Oh, okay. I thought he was a guard. So, okay. So Junior in the chat, appreciate you, Junior. Thank you so much for explaining this to me, because like, I don't really know this guy very much, right? I don't know this guy very much. And here's one of those things where opinions are going to differ, right? Are going to differ amongst everybody. So thank you so much for clarifying this. He says, Gray Zabel is a solid tackle who can play guard. Wouldn't mind it, but definitely not at 16. Okay, so we agree with that. Okay, perfect. So we got the flexibility of a player like a Gray Zabel, right? And you're saying that he's a solid tackle and all play guard. I love the flexibility. I really do. But you're right. I think we can all kind of agree that 16 might be too rich. Man, it might be too rich of a spot here for me, and I'm hoping Monty Ossenfort can agree, right? The only one we're going to need to try to convince here is Monty Ossenfort in this front office, right? Everybody else, continue to make your mock draft 3.0, 4.0, 26.0, wherever you're at right now in the mock draft days. But to me, it's a little too rich for a Gray Zabel, right? At least to me at the 16th overall pick. If that's the Cardinals' plan, trade back, see if you can recoup something, pick something here in the 20s, and I think Cardinal fans will be pretty excited about that, or at least I wouldn't mind it as much. Leo in the chat says, I saw Cards picking him up in the second, not the first. Yeah. So I seen a couple different things. I don't mind the second. If the Cardinals get him in the second round, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Especially right tackle is a big need for the Cardinals in the future. Jonah Williams most likely will get the nod, or at least right now it's trending that he's going to get the nod. But I'm not going to lie to you. I would like the Arizona Cardinals to go a different direction for the future. Obviously, right? Getting up there didn't really look too good after his injury. But I have seen him. There's been a couple mock drafts where he goes in the first round to the Cardinals. I'm not a fan of it, man. I'm not a fan of it one bit, especially at 16. Will Johnson? Yeah, I'm not mad at the Will Johnson thing, man. I'm not mad at the Will Johnson thing. The Cardinals did use what's it called? A top 30 visit, right? A top 30 visit on Will Johnson. Not mad at that one bit either. Junior in the chat says, Simmons seems like a good pick, but he's coming off an ACL injury. It's a bit risky. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think anything, right? That's what makes a draft so fun, right? That's what makes a draft so fun. Who falls to you? And everybody's a little bit of a risk. But you're right, though. When it comes down to it with an injury like that, there is a little bit more of a risk factor that comes to it, right? But you never know, man. I don't think anybody predicted D-Rob to have this nagging calf injury that held him out throughout the entirety of like the first half of the season, right? Now, the way things unfolded, unfortunately, obviously, RIP for his mom, but nobody predicted that, right? Nobody predicted. So, like, that's what makes the draft so intriguing. We were all excited about D-Rob, but now all we can hope for is stay healthy in the beginning of the season and let it rip, right? Let it rip in the defensive line, per Jonathan Gannon. It's the only thing that we can really kind of hope for. So, yeah, there's a lot of opinions out there right now, but I have seen Gray Zabel in the first round to the Cardinals. Not a fan of that one. Second round, I'm cool. If you want to trade back and accumulate another draft pick, I'm cool with that too. But now with the 16th overall pick, it's a little too rich for me. But now going back to the wide receiving, right? The wide receiver that we were talking about here with Matthew Golden. If you're an ASU fan, you probably have a little bit of a PTSD when it comes down to Matthew Golden, because he was the guy that caught that last touchdown. I believe it was the last one that kind of sealed the deal for ASU in the playoff run. But there's a little intrigue with wide receiver for me, a little bit. Primarily Emeka Egbuka. I feel like that is the guy that I would want the Cardinals to go if they go wide receiver. If they don't go wide receiver, I'm cool with that as well. But like Emeka Egbuka right now, I feel like is an Ohio State guy that just keep adding him. If you like Ohio State guys, keep adding him. Emeka Egbuka would be an amazing asset to the Cardinals offense, and I would be excited for it. But like I said, it's not one of those things I'm going to pound the table for. Right now, it's still trenches. Like my allegiance still lies with trenches right now. Primarily defensive side of the ball, but offensive side of the ball, I wouldn't be mad at either. Austin, what's up, Austin? He says also did top 30 on Shamar Stewart. Did they? Okay. I mean, Shamar Stewart is interesting. I know Shamar Stewart ended up going to the Senior Bowl. And my guys at Roundtable Sports, they ended up doing an interview with Shamar Stewart. I mean, he seemed like a pretty stand-up guy. I mean, the main guys, like, or I guess, like, you could be a player, but like a overall good player as well. But the thing is that the Cardinals are looking for a very specific type of player, right? And that's what kind of makes me pause a little bit. Like, I want James Pierce Jr. Like, I feel like if he falls to 16, which is still kind of he might not fall to 16, but if he does, I want the Cardinals to go after James Pierce Jr. But the character concerns, right? The character issues that come along with a James Pierce Jr., right, is it's always going to be behind your mind because you're always going to have to come back and say, oh, well, that's not a Monty Austin pick, right? That's not a Monty Austin pick. And it's a little frustrating because, these character concerns just came out of nowhere, at least in my personal opinion. But I don't know. I do like James Pierce, but as long as we get like a Kenneth Grant, I'm cool with that as well. There's a lot of players that I would love the Cardinals to potentially go after, for sure. Pete in the chat says first and second, Nolan and Princely. As Nike says, just do it. Just do it. That is funny. I'm not the biggest fan of Nolan. I'm not the biggest fan of Nolan. Walter, no, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I don't know. It's just if I'm going to go interior, it's going to be Kenneth Grant for me, especially like in that spot at 16. Like at 16, I'm not okay with Nolan. I'm really not. At 16, I'm not okay with no, actually, I guess just Nolan. I mean, really, I mean, it's Kenneth Grant if you're going for an interior guy for me. Like, it's interior guy, it's got to be Kenneth Grant for me. Edge, I have a lot of edges that I like, right? I have a lot of edge players that I like. Mike Green, character issue, or not character, but obviously that SA allegation that he ended up addressing in the combine. James Pierce Jr., character issues, right? So I'm not starting off good right there, but I do like Michael Williams as well out of Georgia as well. I do like Jalen Walker as well, but there is some concern when it comes down to some Cardinal fans saying, oh, the Cardinals always go after linebacker and they don't work out for the Cardinals at all, right? They go after Isaiah Simmons, but like you can't really judge that. Like you can't, like Jalen Walker seems to be a pretty solid pick. Can he play both? Can he play middle linebacker and edge? Yeah. Is he seen as a tweener? Is he seen as a guy that can, do two things in college? Yeah. But I don't know. I do like Jalen Walker as well as a potential prospect for the Cardinals. But I don't know. When it comes down to Nolan, Walter Nolan, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan of him. No characteristics from Ty Robinson. True. Ty Robinson had a really, really good combine. I'm really excited about maybe potentially the Cardinals in the later rounds getting him. I don't know where he's going to go in the realistic world. I know mock drafts, when you're doing them, he falls like really, really late rounds. I'm not sure how realistic that is. I know his draft stock did go up, but I do like Ty Robinson as well. Let's see here. Let me. What were the mock drafts? Let me take a look here. Let's see. Matthew Golden. It was from ESPN. Let's take a look here. Oh, it was Tyler Linderbaum, right? Is that Tyler? Is it Linderbaum? Oh, Mike Tannenbaum. Wow. Mike Linderbaum is a player. Good Lord, am I a silly person right now? Okay, let's do this. Let me do a quick really sharing of my screen, and let me show you this mock draft that was put out here by Mike Tannenbaum. Sorry, Tannenbaum. Okay, so this is the mock draft I was telling you guys about. So, all right, so we got Cam Ward, no surprise. Travis Hunter, okay. You still got, you got Mason Graham. So they updated it after Russell Wilson is now going to New York. Makes sense. Membu going 4, okay. Carter dropping to 5. That's nuts, but makes sense. Okay, cool. Genty 6. Will Campbell 7. Jalen Walker was the guy I like. Michael Williams. Mock trade. Steelers take advantage of a sliding QB. They get their own quarterback, and then they ended up going after Shador. Will Johnson. T-Mac. Josh Simmons. Tyler Warren. Kenneth Grant. And here we go. Matthew Golden. There it is right there. And let's see what they say exactly. He says, despite adding Marvin Harrison Jr. in the top 5 last April, Arizona was 16th in passing yards per attempt, 7.1, and tied for 20th in touchdown catches, 21 last season. Adding another blue chip receiver to go with Harrison and a tight end like Trey McBride would take this offense to the next level. Golden's incredible timing speed of 4.29 seconds in the 40 dash translate well to a game. He's an excellent route runner with good hands. I think Golden has a chance to be a better pro than in college. So this is basically what we were all kind of talking about when it came down to, Matthew Golden, right? Being mocked to the Cardinals. And if you look down here just a little bit, check this out. James Pierce Jr. goes to 17, which would break my heart right there. because I really do like James Pierce Jr. So in this mock draft, he falls to 16, but the Cardinals decided to bring in a weapon over James Pierce Jr. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, it's one of those things where we're gonna have to wait to see how this all shakes out. But like, it adds some intrigue, right? It adds some intrigue for Cardinal fans because, I mean, any chance, right? Any chance you can come out and say, okay, well, maybe there's a different take in this situation. Okay, well, I mean that guy feels like the Arizona Cardinals need to go after Matthew Golden. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. There was another mock draft too that they had the Cardinals going after Golden as well. I'm gonna try to see if I could find it. Let's see here. We got a mock draft in NFL Network saying we're gonna trade up to 13 to get Kelvin Banks Jr. But that's the thing, man. You're gonna see so many different mock drafts right now. Like, don't get upset, man. Don't get upset because opinions are a dime a dozen, man. Opinions are a dime a dozen. Do the Cowboys need a wide receiver? They do. They do. But it's just right. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. Randall V says, "Have you checked out? Have you checked out Kyler Williams? I have not. You mean Kyle Williams? I know I said I was going to. I am currently in the process of moving, so I have not been able to do a full deep down in, but no, he is going to be on my list of wide receivers I need to take a look into. But he is from Washington State. I need to take a look into him. I know he has been flying off people's draft boards for a potential guy for the Cardinals to bring in. If he's a third rounder, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Yeah, I got him on my list for people to look forward to. We got Pete in the chat says Pierce Jr. Forget the character concerns. I'm worried that his sacks come from the outside where he uses his speed. That's good in college, but in pros, an edge must have an inside slip move. That's fair. That's fair. So you're worried more about him being able to do it or being able to translate to the NFL. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking for that guy opposite Josh Sweat. Right? We got Josh Sweat for 4 years. Is he going to be able to give you the production for 4 years? I mean, we're all hoping for, right? Fingers crossed, because that will take him to what, 32 years old. I don't know. I still like James Pierce Jr. Like, that's still my top guy. It's him. Who else is there? It's Kenneth Grant, Walker, Jalen Walker. Who else do I got up there? Emeka Buka's up there just because I like the intrigue of that. I completely forgot my list, and there was another one I completely forgot. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, options, man, options. Austin in the chat says Kyle Williams or Jalen Royals. As long as we address it, man, as long as we address wide receiver in this year's draft, I'm okay with it. Like there's a big hole, and a lot of these analysts are starting to see it now, right? A lot of these analysts are starting to see it now. I'm so curious to figure out where we go wide receiver in this year's draft because we need it. We do. Now, the curiosity comes from if you do go after a first round wide receiver, does that make Mike Williams fall out of the second wide receiver role? I don't know. I mean, it just depends on who you get, right? Mike Golden, or if you get Matthew Golden, then maybe. If you go after Emeka Buka, he doesn't got to worry because Emeka Buka's going to be slot. Luther Burton's going to be slot. If T-Mac falls, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a crazy time, but super exciting time. Right now, we are 4 weeks away. No, a little over 4 weeks away. So tomorrow is 4 weeks away from the NFL draft. Insane, man. Insane. 4 weeks away from the NFL draft. I'm super, super excited about it. Jay says, I would want an O-lineman, honestly. Yeah, I'm not mad at that either. I've seen a few different mock drafts that the Cardinals go after Josh Simmons. They go after Kelvin Banks Jr., right? So a few different mock drafts have the Cardinals going O-line. Not mad at that. I know Jonah Williams is not a for sure fire thing. There's holes, man. There's holes where the Cardinals can definitely address it. Any position the Cardinals can address. So Pete in the chat says Jalen Jalen Royals is really intriguing. His speed and vertical of the field after the catch is impressive. That's what we need, man. That's what we need. RC3. That's easy to coach, though. He's a rookie with speed. You're talking about James Pierce? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, man. I love James Pierce. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. My guy RC3, we are going to be taking a look at his mock draft. If you want me to take a look at your mock draft, send me it on Instagram or X/Twitter. Send it to me on the DMs, and then we'll be dissecting what you guys did, what you guys cooked up. I want to make that a thing where we're starting to kind of look at you guys' mock drafts and where your mind is going when it comes down to these prospects for the Cardinals to potentially go after. So, you want me to look at a mock draft? Send it to me on the DMs. So yes, James Pierce. Yeah, man, he's one of my top 2 if he falls. If he's not there, of course, I'm not. I won't cry. I'll cry silently, but I'll be fine. Let's read a couple more chats. Let's see here. Another corner or trade for a wideout. Okay. Yeah. I mean, anything's on the table, y'all. Anything's on the table. All right, let's do this. Let's get to the point. Let's go ahead and dive right into RC3's mock draft, shall we? Let's dive into RC3's mock draft, shall we? Okay. Now, it seems like he used the NFL mock draft database. Got a couple screenshots here to look forward to. And there was a lot of moves. By looking at all the draft picks the Cardinals have here, there was a lot of moves, potential trade back options. So let's dive into this together. Courtesy of my guy RC3. Let's put him up on the screen right here. Appreciate you, RC3. Here we go. All right. This is what my guy cooked up. All right. So we got the 22nd overall pick. So it seems like we moved back from 16, accumulated some more draft picks, got Jalen Walker. All right. I like Jalen Walker, so I ain't mad at that so far. 34, Walter Nolan. So we talked about Walter Nolan before, right? And I'm like, I'm not the biggest fan of Walter Nolan. I want to be clear. I'm not the biggest fan of Walter Nolan at 16. That's what I'm. So if he falls to the second round and he's there, of course, take him, right? Of course, take him. So continuing. So 34, you go Walter Nolan. 48, interior offensive lineman, Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State. I like it. I like the Ohio State connection. Wide receiver for the 68th overall pick, Isaiah Bond out of Texas. There's that wide receiver we were talking about. Love to see it. All right, with the 116th overall pick, the Cardinals go Ozzie Trapillo. Boston College? Trapillo? Okay. 120, Denzel Brook. Another Ohio State boy coming over here. Okay. Cornerback. 152, Billy Bowman. Safety out of Oklahoma. All right. Loving it so far. 154, Danny Stutzman. Linebacker out of Oklahoma. 167, we got a quarterback coming up. All right. So RC3, me and you were kind of in the same page. I would love the idea of the Cardinals still getting a quarterback, but obviously, if you have this amount of draft picks that you ended up cooking up, yeah, use definitely a draft pick on a QB that you want to develop. So you bring in Dylan Gabriel. Okay. Quarterback out of Oregon. 181, Damian Martinez, running back. Okay. 225, Cam Jackson, defensive lineman out of Florida. Hey, that's it. You know where you messed up here, RC3? We're Scattaboo. Just kidding. No, that's good, man. It's good mock draft. I feel like you got a lot of the needs. Isaiah Bond, out of Texas, played right alongside of Matthew Golden, right? Yeah, it could very well be a pickup for the Cardinals. I do like Tez Johnson, but I can be swayed either or if the Cardinals do go after an Isaiah Bond. I do like the Walter Nolan if he falls at second. Is he going to fall at second? We don't know. Probably not. But, every mock draft simulator has their own big boards, and they all fall accordingly, right? Jalen Walker, love the pick. Got a lot of depth, man. A lot of depth. Love the running back acquisition because after Trey Benson, there's a lot of we don't really know, right? Michael Carter, we all love him as Cardinal fans. It's just, is he going to get an opportunity? We don't know, right? Is Amari DeMarcado going to be able to stay healthy? We don't know, right? So I love the quarterback pick. I'm curious to figure out what other quarterbacks were available at that 167 spot. Or if Dylan Gabriel is just a guy you really, really like. I'm curious to figure out if there's any other quarterbacks at that very moment, because I know Will Howard has been another quarterback that Cardinal fans have been talking about. Obviously, an Ohio State connection. Kyle McCord, former quarterback for Marvin Harrison Jr. Kyle McCord is up there at a late round pick. Jackson Dart is no longer talked about as a late round pick. This man's going to go somewhere in the first 3 rounds. Jackson Dart is going to probably go first round to the freaking Jets. They're going to find a way to they're going to find a way to jet. Like, the Jets are going to find a way to jet. That's it. Whether the first round or the second round, they're probably going to get Jackson Dart. So I like Jackson Dart, but it's got to be like 3rd round or later for Jackson Dart. He's not going to be there anymore. Bond can play both outside and slot. Hey, okay, I ain't mad at that. Yeah, this ain't bad, man. This ain't bad one bit. Allison says Walter Nolan falling is crazy. I mean, use different mock draft simulators, and sometimes they'll do it. It's crazy. It is nuts. It is absolutely nuts. Like, the PFF mock draft simulator has Jalen Walker at like 26 in terms of their big board. So like sometimes Jalen Walker doesn't even go to like the late 20s, which is nuts to me. Jalen Walker is probably gonna go somewhere in the top 15, if not top 10. Like, Jalen Walker is gonna go pretty freaking high in the draft. But like, it depends on what mock draft simulator you use, right? That you're gonna be able to cook something up good, or there's gonna be people that are not available. So I don't know. I'm curious. RC3, here we go. He says Dylan is awesome, but needs more good hands around him. Fair. Well, the good thing is that the Cardinals right now, at least what it's trending to look like, is that we are going to be using Kyler, right? Kyler's going to be the QB1. You got a QB2 already with Jacoby Brissett. And then you're just looking for a QB3 to potentially develop. Like, if the Cardinals somehow cook up something this much, like if the Cardinals get this many draft picks, right? All this plus 3, yeah, take a flyer in a QB for sure. For sure. So yeah, man, I'm mad at it. I'm mad at it one bit. I know some people in the chat might want to roast you for not having Scadaboo there, but that's just people out there that really love Scadaboo. I like Scadaboo too. I really do. It's just not at the expense of overdrafting a Scadaboo. If the Cardinals trade back and accumulate another 3rd round and he's there, cool. I'm cool with that. But not 1st and 2nd round. Some people want to go after him in the 2nd round. I'm like, nah. I ain't doing that myself. But yeah, overall, it's a good mock, man. It's a really good mock draft. So yeah, going back to the whole mocked, Matthew Golden to the Cardinals, where this is coming from is Mike Tanderbaum out of ASU did it, and of course now it got people talking. It got Cardinals fans debating amongst each other, saying things like, "Oh, we should do this. Oh, we shouldn't do this." Right? Like I said, there's always going to be a little of intrigue, man. There's always going to be a little intrigue for me. Even if it's 10, 15%, there's still going to be a little intrigue for me. But mock drafts, man, they're a dime a dozen. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. I'm a little higher on Mike Wilson. Wow. I'm a little higher on Michael Wilson. So that's why if I do go wide receiver, it's probably going to be for a slot, and that's going to be a Mecca. So that's just kind of the way I like to look at things. But yeah, this is kind of getting people to talk about things now. Didn't Mel Kiper also release his mock draft? Like a pretty recent one? Let's see here. When did Mel Kiper? I think Mel Kiper recently released a mock draft. Is it this one? Yeah, of course, there's a paywall to it. Yeah, I think Mel Kiper has kind of mocked some crazy people to us too as well. So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, opinions are opinions, man. Opinions are opinions. Dylan is less athletic than Kyler. I don't think it's even about that for my guy RC3, but I think it's just developing somebody. I think it's what he's kind of going for. Junior says, wouldn't mind trading back at 16. There's plenty of depth for trenches, plenty of positions to address in the second or third. Just depends on how the board falls, man. Just depends on like it depends on how the board falls. If the Cardinals really like somebody at 16, obviously go for it, right? Obviously go for it. But it depends who falls at 16. Um, if Shador's there at 16, imagine if Shador's there at 16, right? Maybe the Steelers come calling, right? Maybe the Steelers like, okay, we'll give you what you want, right? Let us get in front of you. Maybe they give us something that we can't refuse. And it's not going to be anything like you have a first overall pick and you're going to get their King's ransom. No, you're probably going to recoup a third or maybe some other picks in the late round. Maybe something next year, right? But I mean, for the most part, um, it is intriguing. It is because the Steelers right now with where they're at, they're sitting at the wait. Where are the Steelers? Wait, where are the Steelers? Wait, do the Steelers not have a first round pick? They do, right? They do. They do. They do. Okay, so where's Chicago? So they traded up with so they are sitting at the 21st. Okay. So like let's say for example, Shador falls to 16, right? Let's say for example they fall to 16. Maybe they call Colin. Maybe they call up Colin. So yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see what happens. A lot of difference of opinions out there, man. That's the beautiful part of mock draft season. You can debate about it. You can go back and forth, and you can say things like, "Hey, this is it," or "Hey, this ain't it," right? "Hey, this is it," or "Hey, this is not it." So yeah, super exciting times, man. Super exciting times. I'm curious to figure out what your guys' thoughts here with the Cardinals potentially going after a wide receiver in the first round in the 2025 NFL draft. For the most part, when I ended up asking you guys, I think I got a lot of people saying nah. But there are some people that are intrigued with the idea of wide receiver. Like I said, even if it's 10 or 15%, I'm still a little intrigued with the idea of getting wide receiver back to back years. But right now, my allegiance still lies with trenches. Like it still lies with the trenches right now. Yeah, and the chat says if they take a wide receiver at 16, I'm going to flip out. Really? Huh. Okay. I mean, fair, fair. Money in the chat says we can trade out of the first round. For I see that's one thing I don't want to do. Like I want a first round still. Like I still want a first round pick because like the Cardinals can very well still use a blue chip player and they get harder to find. Like you could find some in the third, second, fourth, fifth round, but like they get harder to find, right? Like if you want to take a crack, your best chance is to have a first round pick. I personally don't want to trade out of the first round. I want us to keep our first round pick to potentially get a chance at getting a blue chip player. Like we got to bring in a playmaker, man. We got to bring a potential superstar. That's something that I would love for the Cardinals to do. But that's just my opinion. Let's read a couple more comments and we're gonna be closing up shop. We got Jakai. What's up, man? Had Monty at like a 6 and 10 at the end of the season. Right now, I have him at an 8 out of 10. If we go wide receiver at 16, I'm back at 5 and 10. That's funny. That's funny. That's fair. I mean, see, and that's the thing. That's what makes sports so beautiful, right? That's what makes sports opinions so beautiful because 6 out of 10 at the end of the season, fair. 8 out of 10 to finish off free agency. And for the most part, I think the Cardinals right now are done with free agency. Like, are they going to still make some depth moves here and there? They potentially can, right? They potentially can. Right now, it doesn't seem like any moves have been made for the Cardinals, with the exception of guys that people don't really know. But so you're saying if the Cardinals go after a wide receiver, your rating goes back down? I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's unrealistic, I guess, right now, for the Cardinals to go wide receiver. But I think anything is on the table, man. I think anything's on the table. I wouldn't be mad at it, especially if it was a Mecca. But at the end of the day, my allegiance still does lie with the trenches right now, right, right. And when we're doing this live stream on March 26th, my allegiance lies with trenches right now. So let me see if there's been any news, and it's just wishful thinking because we know darn well there's no news going on with the Cardinals right now. But let's see here. Let me see if there's any news going on. Yeah, nothing else right now worth noting. Cardinals haven't made a move in seems like quite some time. Are we expecting to move? Probably not. We've got a lot of money, but we also do potentially want to extend Trey. We also do got to save some money with what's his name? We gotta save some money for the draft as well, the draft prospects that are coming in. So good times, man. Good times. Any other mock drafts? We will be obviously talking about them, seeing exactly how it all transpires, how they all show up. But for the most part, we're still seeing things out there from the Titans general manager that has the first overall pick saying everything is still on the table. Stop lying. Stop lying to yourself. You're gonna go after Cam Ward. We all know it. Don't lie. Don't lie. All right, y'all. Let's close up shop right here. Thank you so very much for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you guys for obviously watching. This is the dead part of the off season where you got the time before or between free agency and the NFL draft, where you kind of want to be in on football, but there's not really a lot of news to talk about. So for the people that are in the chat, thank you so very much for obviously participating. I know right now we got basketball season in the tail end of the season where we're all hoping that the Suns can finish off strong and make it into the play-in. Fingers crossed. And then we got the Diamondbacks coming up tomorrow. And I'm excited, man. Sports are coming back with the so I'm really, really excited about baseball season coming back as well. So I understand for the people out there that are kind of a little turned off when it comes down to the football season. But for the most part, everybody here in the chat, thank you so very much for being here. Do me a huge favor, smack up the like button on your way out. Let's see if we can hit let's go crazy. Let's see if we can hit 50 likes by the time we end this live stream. We got over 60 people here in the chat right now. Like I said, a lot of people aren't tuning in. There's just not a lot of exciting things happening right now. So don't blame me one bit. Smack the like button on your way out. Subscribe if this is your first time here. We're on the road to 17K. Can't do it without you guys. Go Suns. Go Diamondbacks. Let's hope for a fantastic season in the 2025 season. And of course, come draft season, which is going to be in 4 weeks or a little over 4 weeks for the first round. Let's get going, man. I'm super, super excited. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.